Hey there, everyone. This is Chris McDonald back with a Timer Tip Tuesday. Today's session is going to be on race day scoring, a quick setup guide. So for some of you that have been using race day scoring quite a bit, this is kind of a no-brainer. For those of you that have been on the fence, this might be a helpful, I don't know, kick in the pants to say, look, it's really not that hard. Let's make it happen. Also, Matt is going to be sending a message in the chat that is going to have a link to this document, which we made up. And it is quite literally a quick setup guide to races that are on RunSignup. Now, obviously, if your race is not on RunSignup, it's a little different. You do have to do a handful of things before you get into the setup. So, but you will get a copy of this, and it is 2 pages of going through it, and you will end up having set up race day scoring. Now, there are nuances to every race. There are additional things. There are a million different things that you could be doing at your race. So what we're going to be talking about today is just a quick and dirty, really easy setup. We get a lot of timers that are like, hey, I really want to get into race day scoring. I have this event that my normal timing system won't handle. So I want to do it with race day scoring. Now, while that is a great thought, the reality is what you're telling me is that, hey, I've got my hardest race of the year coming up. We run into issues every single time, and I want to learn a new system and try to implement that. And for my first race ever, I want to try to do my hardest race. And, you know, it's probably not going to go well. So, and it's not because the system's not made for it. It's because you're not familiar with it. And so the ideal here is we're going to spend about, 10 minutes talking about it, 5 to 10 minutes demoing it, and then ask any questions on the setup. So I would suggest trying to find that easy 5K or easy 5K, 10K. Maybe it has a start finish or just a finish line that you could roll this out and test things. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to go into the getting started part, setting up race day scoring, timing and reporting, and then we're going to demo it. So again, this is not going to be fancy with a lot of pictures, because we are trying to get to the point where we can go straight into the demo. So when you're getting started, you're quite literally going to open race day scoring. You're going to hit manage races. You're going to import a race already on RunSignup. The set dates are already set to the next 365 days. You can search. You're going to enter your password. Now I say this in big letters. Why? Because we run into so many timing outfits that are sharing passwords, and it's just not a good idea. If you are the owner of your timing company and you have multiple people underneath you and all of you are logging in to the same group, and I'm not wagging my finger at like one person, I'm wagging my finger at a lot of outfits out there. So this is not good. We want to make sure everybody's logging in with their own password. If you own the company, you can actually set up people as sub accounts underneath your timer account. So that way they can still log in with their username and password, not using yours. So once you've got your password in there, all the races will pop up. Now, you do need to make sure you're set as the timer on step 1 of the race wizard. And so you're going to pick the race, and then you're going to either import the original race, or you're going to back it up, or you're going to use the backup if it's been previously set up. So if you're the primary timer, you set everything up in Monday, and your secondary timer is going to the race and they're going in. This is how they would get there. They would go in and they would use this previously set up event. Now, all of these hyperlinks actually go, and if I click one of these, let's see what happens. So if I go in, it quite literally takes you to help docs. So all of these things on both the race day scoring tablet and document and on the presentation, all of these hyperlinks take you to help docs. So keep that in mind. So we can go back, there we go. All right, so we're into our race. Now we're gonna go into setting up the race on race day scoring. Again, we're gonna talk through it and then we're gonna do it. So first things first, we're going to land on the home page. We're going to go and save the participant sync. We're going to go into participants and teams. We're going to double check everything that looks right. If we need to import a bibchip file, we do that. With streams and timing locations are the most confusing part to folks. There's a big link here. This takes you into how to set up streams for all your different timing systems. So if you're using RaceResult or IPCO or MyLapse or ChronoTrack, it doesn't matter. All of those are in there. So how to set those up, what the baseline settings for those are. So you're going to add those streams. You're going to choose whether or not you're going to be direct or file. For those of you that have been doing Race Director for years, you've probably gotten used to doing file imports. That's fine. You can keep doing that into RaceDay scoring. If you want to try direct imports, it is a little bit faster, I find. It's actually a good bit faster in my opinion. But you can set up either way to pull that data in and set up your streams in advance there. You're going to make sure your decoder name, file location, or extension are correct, and IP port. All of these are functions underneath we'll go through. And then you're going to set up your timing locations. This is like your start location or your finish location or your 5K split location or your swim finish location, things like that. You're going to make sure that all the data for this data collection is correct, like the time filters or the dates are correct. You're going to make sure the number of occurrences for these locations are correct. So if people hit that map more than one time, you need to have it set to more than one time. And then you set a gap factor for number of times or time difference in between reads. And then we go into scored events. Usually you are using the quick setup function for the scored events. And that goes ahead and sets up a lot of other stuff. So once you get scored events set up, all of this pulls down from RunSignup. So you do want to make sure your basic info in your scored events are correct. You want to remove any virtual events, save that. Corrals, you're going to go in and review the corrals. Those are going to get pulled down from RunSignup. If you didn't set them up at RunSignup, you can set them up at this point. You do not have to have corrals. I would say most events do not have corrals. Segments, again, we're doing a very, very simple event today, so we're not going to be talking about segments, but we did a whole presentation on segments for both a marathon and a triathlon, which this will link you into. Setting up age groups and top finishers for bands of top finishers like overall or masters, you can set all this up. Then we go into range insert for age groups. And so once we get into age groups, we can set like the range size, ending point, things like that. And then let's see, then we go into our reports. And for overall reports, we have autosave settings that publish to RunSignup. And you can configure all of this information underneath that autosave setting. And then your age groups, usually I'm using my age groups for my awards. And so I go into my actions and edit and make sure I don't have unnecessary columns. Like I don't care about my splits. If let's say I'm doing a triathlon, I don't care about split data in my award categories. And then I also might only want to show award winners or only X number of people per age group, or show non-finishers or not show non-finishers or things like that. So again, I told you, we're running through this quickly. Why? Because we're going to go into a demo and I want to show you how quickly you can set things up. So once you get everything going, timing a race, you quite literally turn on the connector at the top of the screen, begin pushing middleware data into RaceDay scoring. You review the data coming in and run reports. And then at the end, you push the final version up to the cloud for storage. Hopefully that was fast enough for people. There was a point to that. I didn't want to, I wanted to make sure that both we left plenty of time in here for the demo, but also that you could see that there's not a lot to setting this up. So with that being said, I'm going to open up RaceDay scoring. So like we said, landed RaceDay scoring, I'm going to go into manage races. So I'm on manage races. I have some old races. I'm going to go into import a race already on RunSignup. Again, it gives me a year. I don't have to do anything. I just hit search. I'm going to type in my password. We're just going to pick this race, test race. It's a good one to start with. So here we have a number of backups because I've played with this race before, or we can import original. Let's import original race. So this race happens to have some different years in there, so I'm going to save it as 2022. All right, so this is where most of you get, and you're like, oh gosh, there's so much to do, I don't know where to start. You quite literally work your way down, and I'm gonna work my way down quickly. So first things first, participant sync. I go in, I'm gonna save my sync settings. How do I know if it worked? Well, you can see there's 0 people in there right now. So now there's 6, it just synced up. Boom. So if I go into participant and teams, the second thing down, remember I said go in and look, see if everything looks right. Well, I've got people in there. Sure, they don't have bib numbers, but we're just messing around, so it doesn't really matter. So let's say you need to add a bib chip file. So actions, setup, chip, auto assignment. So I can choose now my bib chip file, and I can pull this in. For this race, I'm not going to. So now streams. All right, let's add a stream. I can say, you know, I can, for me, once you have streams created, a lot of times you can use them over and over and over for different events. So I can create a test stream here, and I can say stream type. If you choose file, you can choose any type of file, or you can do any one of these types of directs, right? So I'll choose whatever, MyLabs Direct. And so my timing and scoring name, this might be, we'll call it finish, or let's say it was all caps and I just want to make sure. Finish. Select an option, bib tag. And so all of this is set up. We don't need to do any of this right now. I'm not going to set it to a timing location. We're going to do that in a second. Save. So now somewhere in there, we have a MyLabs finish. Let's see. What do we call it? Well, I should have paid more attention to what I was calling it. Now I feel bad. Oh, well, we'll go in there and.
I think it was test.
Oh, it was test. Okay. Thanks. There we go. See, I was going too fast. Test stream is in there. So if I scroll all the way down, you can see test stream right there. So timing locations, you auto get created start and finish locations. You don't have to use these, but they're a good place to start. So I don't care about having a start location. I'm only going to do this finish location. So if I'm going to go ahead and hit settings for this, finish, and go in and look, and it's already set to a finish timing location. What types of reads are going to be going on at this location? Finish and or split times. Mainstream, I could have done this before, but I'm going to do it now. Test stream direct. So we could have saved that in the stream location, but now it's saved here. So earliest time, whatever. Our race starts at 8. We're going to say nobody's going to finish before 8:15. How many times are they going to hit this location? 1. So I can hit save now. Scored events. Let's go to quick setup. All we have to do is click quick setup there. And let's say we're not going to even use a start location for these. But we can double check. We're going to use clock time, 50K. All this looks okay. I don't care about a chip time in there. Oh, it looks like the start time for this event was 6 a.m., but oh well. So clock time, we're going to exclude our chip time. And again, we're just double checking that all of this looks good. And we hit save. Corrals, there are no corrals. I'm not going to create corrals. Segments for this event. There's an overall segment for the 50K, overall segment for the 25K. You don't have to do anything. Those are auto created. So if you don't have splits out on course, you don't need to generate any segments. All right. Well, let's see about age groups. We're just going to work on the 25K here. So if we wanted to, we could say we don't care about the 50K and save it. So now there is no, we can add a scored event of the 50K, but we don't have to. So now there's only a 25K. So we're going to go to set top finishers. So let's do an overall category real quick. We're going to score them by gun time. Top 3 males, top 3 females, save. And let's say we have a masters as well. Starting age is 40. This one, we only have one of each. And save. Our top finishers are done. So now we need age groups. Quick way to do that, range insert. Let's say our range size is 5, and we want to start at 15. And we want to end at whatever, 69. So now it's 1 to 14 and 70 and above. That's all we have to do. If I hit save, and let's say we only want 2 awards per age group. All of these are now created. I hit save. So I go into my reports, my overall report. I can go in to an autosave setting. And we're cycling, so let's go miles per hour. And we're just going to hit add stream and save settings. And for my age group, nothing's in there now because there's no data. So for my age group, I usually don't group reports by gender. I don't want any splits in there, which we don't have splits to begin with. And maybe I only want to show award winners. And I save that report. So now this report, once I start timing, this report's going to auto push all the results directly up to RunSignup. And this report is going to be used for my awards. And I can run these reports at any point during the timing scoring process. So that took a total of, I think, 6 minutes. And that's with me talking everybody through it. So the only thing now that I have to do, is I have to start the connector and I have to press play to bring my reads in. That's it. That is how you set up RaceDay scoring. And I wanted to do that as quickly as possible because I know we're going to get some questions. I'm ready for it. But it is not a difficult process. It is not something you need to be scared of. We had our symposium, gosh, it's been almost 4 weeks ago now, 3-4 weeks ago. And we saw a number of you there. For those of you that weren't there, we had a lot of conversations with people that said, it just doesn't seem ready. And I said, says who? And a lot of the timers said, well, I guess maybe I'm not ready. And I said, okay, well, why? Like, well, it just takes so long to set up. And so that's where we thought about, all right, well, let's show how quickly it can take to set up. So that's it. And I want to upload this to the cloud. You can see if I click this button right here, it'll send a full backup of this race to the cloud. Boom. And I can name it and now it might take, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. Somebody else on my team can pull this down and look at it if I'm having an issue. So are there any questions? Again, I realize I went through that very, very quickly, but the idea here is not, hey, let's race and see how quickly we can do it, but just to show that, look, this is not a complicated thing to get a race set up. And hopefully the video of this is probably not going to be as helpful, but these documents on the back end will be for you training new timers or reviewing back on how to get something set up. Because we get that for a number of you, it's a new scoring platform, but it is very intuitive and very user-friendly. Oh, and let me send hey, I don't know what's going on. Hey, Matt Avery, I don't know what's going on. Man, what should I do? I'm going to send a backup, and I'm sure some of our support guys are on the call right now, and they will tell me when they get the support ticket in. I'd be willing to bet it's in the next like 45 seconds.
You got it now. Yeah.
Yep. So boom, the support team just got that ticket. I'm not on the same server right now. Like, I am states away. So you have backup, you have help. We're here to help you. So we want you to feel confident in testing, and we want you to feel confident in going out to a race and doing it. Like, if you're going to try a tougher event, we're probably going to have to do some additional training, or look at your setup or something like that. I would just strongly advise you to pick a race that's maybe a little easier. And it's really easy to get in the habit of not changing what you're doing. And the easy race, you don't even think about it. You hit refresh on whatever you've been doing for years. And then afterwards, you're like, oh man, I could have done it. Well, today's Tuesday. What's going on this weekend? Try to set one up. Take a secondary computer and just set it up next to it and see if you can't produce the exact same results. And the goal for today is to not make it long. One of the things we asked is, hey, do you guys want long timer tip Tuesdays or short? Everybody said short. It's like, if we have to make one long, what would help? And somebody said, give us a 10-minute like cliff notes before you get into it. That way, if we want to stay on, we can. So we're not doing cliff notes today. It was just a short one. That's what we have for you today. Race day scoring basics. That is how easy it is to set up an event on race day scoring. Obviously, we're not actually timing. I don't have decoders and things like that set up for you. But this is what you can be doing on a Tuesday. This is a test event. You don't have to have a real event. You can create a fake event at RunSignup. You can register yourself and a friend for it. You can assign yourself bibs. You can put those decoders out in your front yard, or pull in data that you have from previous years, and use all that and test stuff out. So these are really great tools. It's a really great product. I personally am timing on this every single weekend, from races of 50 people to I think 9,000-10,000. So I mean, it might seem scary, but it is a robust platform that can manage your event. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And my email address is CRISP @runsignup.com. Also, we have a couple more Timer Tip Tuesdays coming up. The next one is August 23rd, and that is going to be me and Matt Avery. And this one's going to be a much more upper or advanced level of how data actions work. And so if you want to know how they work, we will say use caution a million times over, but we are going to go over how data actions work on August 23rd. And then August 30th, we have a product update for race directors, timers, etc. So if you have race directors that you've been wanting to get onto the check-in app, that's what we're doing on August 30th, is a race day check-in app product update. And we're going to go through that. So it might be a good time for you to loop in your race directors and have them sit in and see how things work. So with that being said, I appreciate your time, and look forward to chatting with you next week. Take care.